Hello traders, if you're confused why different traders have different support and resistance levels, or if you're trading and you're drawing your support or resistance level and you're going on multiple different time frames and it looks very messy, then this video is for you. In part 1 of this series, I discussed what support and resistance is and how to find it. Very beginner friendly, so go check it out. I will link that down below. But today I'm going to explain how to draw support and resistance on multiple different time frames. So yeah, let's get started. So this is part 2 of our support and resistance series. So number 1, we go on the daily time frame. We go on the daily time frame as we're trying to identify the trend. Now, if you want to figure out how to identify the trend, you can check my previous video, which I will link that down below. So first we're going to try to identify the trend, and we can tell on this image that it is in an uptrend. And because it is an uptrend, we are trying to find support. And of course, if we use a downtrend, we would try to find resistance and sell. However, this is support, therefore we are going to buy. So now we've cleared that, we want to draw our support level on the daily time frame. This is where I find my strongest level and only draw major zones. Major zones where price clearly have bounced or reversed. And I don't draw 10 different levels, I just draw 1 to 2 levels to keep my setup clean, as the more levels you have, the more confusing it will get to trade. So yeah, I'm going to give you guys 3 seconds to identify where you guys will draw your support if you was to trade this trade. So if you said this was your support level and this was your support level, give your shoulders a tap on the back. If you said this was your support level, that's also correct. If you said this was your support level over here too, that is also correct. However, remember how I mentioned you should only use your most recent support zones, and our most recent support zone is this, just below the price. Let me, if I can zoom it in. Yep, is this, just below the price, and this over here. This one is our strongest one. This one is the most recent support level. Now, once we've drawn our 1 to 2 major support level, we then go on to the hourly time frame. Did you see how on the hourly time frame it changed? So on the daily it looks like this, and on the hourly it looks like this, as it is more refined and it shows the present price. And on the hourly time frame, this is where we refine our support levels. And then the hourly time frame gives us levels that are tradable. I'm not going to add random new zones unless I do see a strong zone. But usually I just keep it as is and I just sharpen the support level. So for instance, we could, to be honest, I can't remove it now. However, hypothetically, we could remove the second support level just a bit up, and we could extend this just a tiny bit down. And remember, when you draw your support levels, your support or resistance levels, there is never a wrong or right answer as long as it touches 2 to 3 bounces. So you can see it touched 1, 2, and 3. To be honest, I wouldn't really trade this, as you can see that it is moving sideways and that there is no sense of direction. And then this one, you can see it touched once, twice, and it touched 3 times, and it kept going up. Bruv, there's a fly, it's annoying me. Now you're probably wondering, oh, but this is how you find support or resistance levels. Other traders look on different time frames. So that is correct. There is no wrong or right answer when you are scalping. You have to pick your starting time. You essentially have to pick your starting time frame and be consistent. For example, trader 1 could look on the weekly and then look on the hourly, and then they enter on the 5-minute time frame. Whereas trader 2, like me, I look on the daily time frame, then I look on the hourly, and then I look on the 15-minute time frames. So essentially, some traders start from the weekly, some traders start from the daily, some traders might start on the 4-hour charts and then go down to smaller time frames. There isn't one correct way. What matters is your consistency. So think of it, your daily time frame or weekly time frame is a map. Let's say a city, for instance, London, and then once you figure out your location, that is the path, the roadmap. So yeah, hope that clarifies. If you guys have had confusion, oh, this trader uses this trader uses that. Yes, as I mentioned, there is no right or wrong answer. You need to choose the time frame that suits you. And once we looked onto the daily, then hourly, we look onto the 15-minute time frames for clarity. So over here, I adjusted my support zone. I'm going to show you a mini video of the 15-minute time frame, how I would adjust my support level. So over here, this is still big. We don't want big zones, as we're just going to be in the trade forever. So I refined my support zone in the same level. I just made it a bit smaller, and then I refined my top zone as well. I made it a bit smaller as it was too big, and I just tightened it for cleaner levels if I was to trade this. So yeah, you can see it looks much cleaner, has more touches, and you can see that it is a strong support zone. Then I quickly drew my resistance level, as I found a resistance level which could be my take profit level just before my take profit level if I was to trade. Now we got that sorted, then we go on to the 5-minute time frame. So the 5-minute time frame is actually where I enter. This is not where you draw your support and resistance. You're supposed to do it on the earlier time frames. So when you're on the 5-minute time frame, it's to see if the level is rejecting cleanly or whether it's breaking the level. I essentially use this 5-minute time frame for entries and stop loss and quick management. It's fairly easy to draw your support level on an uptrend. Essentially, like I mentioned, you go on the daily, you draw your support levels just 1 to 2, then you go on the 1 hour to adjust, then the 15-minute time frame, you adjust it accordingly, and then you go on the 5-minute time frame to enter your trades and find confirmation. I actually play with 5 to 10 minutes, however I do enter on the 5 minutes. And you're probably going to say, oh, some people do 2 minutes. As I mentioned earlier, there's no correct answer. You need to figure out what time frame works for you. So I've explained how to find support and resistance in part 1, but I just wanted to run you through it. I literally explained it as I went through the slides. So number 1, we identified the trend, we found 2 to 3 bounces, and then we marked our zones, and then we focused on the recent levels. These are the 4 tips that I can give you, or you can say 4 steps to find your support and resistance. So always remember this, especially if you draw lines. Price reacts in areas and not exact prices. Okay, if there's one thing you want to take away from this video, it's this. So now you know how to draw support and resistance in a multiple different time frame. I want to try to give you a live example. I'm not going to trade. I'm just going to run you through how I find support and resistance again, just so you guys can understand it even more. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay guys, we are on the daily time frame. We can see that it is an uptrend with some minor pullback. So now we've identified the trend, we figured that it was an uptrend, we want to draw our support levels. So I'm going to draw, let me remove this. I'm going to draw the most recent support level that I can find. And if you zoom in, the most recent support level I can find right now is this level. Look, you can see the wick, you can see the candles are on the same level as well as the wicks, 1, 2. And same as here, this is the top of the candle body. And then we're going to draw the second support level, which is over here. You could also say this is our support level over here too. So yeah, we could say we've got now 3. Like I mentioned, usually I only like to do 2 zones as it complicates the trade. So I'm going to quickly go down onto the hourly and see how it looks. And maybe I might remove this or this line. Now we've drawn our major support zones. We go onto the hourly time frame. So we can see we don't need this one anymore, as look, you can see it's very far from the price and we don't need that right now. So we can see this is our support level over here, but I just want to refine it because look guys, you can see it's very big. So I'm just gonna remove this and quickly make it a bit smaller. I'm just gonna put this up here as our second support line. You could also say, you see, here we go. We could also say this is also another support level. So if we go on the daily, let's see how that would look. Okay, it's a bit small, but yep, it's correct because if we dragged it, it would touch to this candle. So essentially that is also correct. It would touch. So you can see, look, we touched here and it respected it over here. So therefore it is our support level. So if we go back on the hourly quickly, this is correct. For now, we could remove this. However, we know this is our major zone, but this is not a big major zone. This is a minor major zone. But we can see from the wicks that it touched and rejected this area. So then we go on to the 15-minute time frame. If we zoom in, we can see it's resisting this area over here. So we can draw a line just over here. It's resisting. You can draw it like this, but we're just going to do it like this for now. We found our resistant area. Now we've got our 2 support levels. We're just going to go down to the 15-minute time frame. If you're a bit confused why I drew this and I removed this, it was just for a cleaner setup. Of course, if price was to come back down to here, I will redraw this support level. And on the annual time frame, we did find our new support levels and then we double confirmed it back on the daily. So hopefully that made sense. And then we go on to the 15-minute time frame. And then on the 15-minute time frame, you see that new support level we put over here. Well, it's not new, but you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. That is our strong support level over here, as it has more than 3 bounces and this is correct over here. So guys, we can make this a tiny bit more cleaner. And do you see how I'm making it clean and adjusting the size of my zone instead of changing my support zone? Over here on the 15-minute time frame, we can see it's resisting. This is our resistance level over here. We can see it broke from our support level. It's forming a new support level over here, just above our support level. On the 15-minute time frame, you can see it's moving very choppy. It has no sense of direction. But since there's an uptrend, usually after every choppiness, it does shoot up. However, it could just pull back down again as there is not really any momentum and it is pre-market right now. So essentially, usually I would avoid these trades unless I have a good price action. So then yeah, we go on to the 5-minute time frame. Sorry guys, I'm a bit sick. So yeah, it's very simple to draw your support levels. Just remember 2 to 3 bounces. Remember, there's no wrong or right answer. Okay, and then we go on to the 5-minute time frame as we want to figure out our entry. Like we mentioned, and we were correct, you can see it's choppy. It has no sense of direction, so usually I would avoid this trade unless we have a good confirmation. Unless you have confirmation like a bullish engulfing or a strong buying momentum, then I would buy. So yeah, that is guys, that is how you draw your support and resistance on multiple different time frames. If you guys are still confused how to draw your support levels, just keep practicing. Just draw your support levels. Let's go back on the daily, right? Be like, okay, I can see there is a candle here and it's matched with this wick and it's matched with this wick. Therefore, this is going to be my support level as they are in the same level. There's an opened here, it has a wick over here, as it opened here, and it opened here, and it has a wick over here. Okay, that is why I'm going to use this as my support level, and this is my strongest support level as it is my recent level. Okay, let's say over here, let's give you a different example. Let's give you a second example. Okay, there's a wick here, it's opened here, I can see wicks and candles are opening, and therefore that is my second support level. It's very easy, and you can see, look, it touched, up, touched, down, touched, up. You see, it's very simple. You just have to align the candles with your resistance level and make sure there's 2 to 3 bounces. Another way you can think of it, look, there was a little bounce, therefore it is our support level. You can try find these mini curves. So one tip I can give is try to find mini curves. When you find a mini curve, that could be your support level. Same as here, look, mini curve. This is not really a curve, but it's kind of a curve. But you get the gist of it. And yeah, thank you for watching. This is the exact multi-time frame method I use. I will hopefully be doing a part 3 of this support and resistance series. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to get more content like this and like this video. So yeah, take care guys and ciao.